We've concluded our round of questions here, but I would allow a second round of questions for anybody that wishes to. I'll have one myself. I recognize myself for 5 minutes for others that would like to as well. Let me come back to the automated devices. I'm going to focus this on Mr. Pugh once again here. Now, in my personal life, I get really tired of getting gonged at all the time because I left the key in the ignition, or I'm driving around my fields there and I don't have my seatbelt on because I'm jumping in and out and irrigating. And you can't shut the damn things off, you know? The dealer says, oh, it's a safety thing. Like, well, you know, I have enough of a brain to figure out when I can do it safely or not. But we're not given that credit, and especially as truckers who put in lots of miles, many, many miles as professionals. So more and more things are being done to take away their discretion and their ability, especially mom and pop truckers that are maybe not covering the vast majority of miles or hours doing so. So you got, again, we're talking about automatic emergency braking systems, the speed limiters we talked about, ELDs, which are not very highly favored by the smaller truckers, and then truck shutoff devices that automatically shut the truck off after reaching hours of service limits. Now, nothing mankind makes is perfect, and so these systems can all glitch. I have to wonder about, you know, and we're seeing this on automobiles, cars and pickups, that they glitch, and you got automatic braking if it detects you're too close to another car, and so you're driving along and the car is jerking on you, trying to do things automatically for you. And, you know, people aren't perfect, but neither are the devices. So, Mr. Pugh, talk about, in a scenario I've heard about, is that with the automatic emergency braking systems, what if you're driving an 80,000-pound rig in an icy condition and something detects that we need to jam on the brakes? What does that do to upset the control of the truck in that situation, or others that you know of that you can tell the committee here today?
Yes, thank you. Yes, in short, it'll put you into a skid if you're not real careful or don't know what you're doing. That's where I point out the fact, as I said earlier, cars are much different than trucks. Trucks way longer. It's 65, 70 feet long. The tires are bigger. Where the wheels, the tires are at on the road at the time. Then you add in the different kinds of loads. If you're hauling a low load, a piece of some pipe or something, it doesn't stick very high on your trailer. You have a lower center of gravity. That handles completely different if you're hiring a giant single coil that weighs 50,000 pounds and 6 feet tall, but only 4 feet wide. You're very high center of gravity. It's easy to tip. Put liquid into the mix. If you pull a tanker, I pulled a tanker for a little bit. I jokingly said it felt like you're on a boat all the time because as you're going down the highway, that stuff's in there sloshing. Now you're on an icy road and you hit the brakes, or they automatically just lock up, and that chemical or something that's in that tanker comes forward, it's going to put you in a heck of a situation. You're going to be passing yourself.
The trucker is thinking about that load as he's going, whereas the automatic device just wants to be automatic, right? And
yeah, I mean, as a trained trucker,
effect of a liquid and such.
And in my opinion, as a trained trucker, and this is what we should be looking at, is training truckers instead of coming out with all kinds of electronic devices to dumb down the industry. Let's train the people behind the wheel to drive the truck. I hauled frac sand for a long time down West Virginia in the mountains. You have to know what you're doing to drive off-road and go up the side of a mountain. I mean, I was pulled up the side of a mountain with a dozer. It was so steep. You can't make computers, in my opinion, that can do these kind of things. And you know what? We all forget, and you said it yourself, Congressman, computers have bad days too. I can't get my freaking phone to sync to my 2022 Ford pickup truck half the time. Now, I think that's pretty basic technology, but it doesn't work a lot. But now we want to put all these things into trucks and say, hey, you're safer now. We teach pilots to fly the plane before we teach them to fly the plane with all the technology.
Well, we
Let's
had an
teach
issue
truckers
with
to drive
737s that they had too much gadgetry on there they're relying on instead of the pilot knowing how to fly the plane. And I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, the more automated it is, the easier it is for people to get lazy on automobiles. Truckers are pretty disciplined, but talk quickly about the automatic shutoff devices for reaching hours of service. Now, since these things can glitch, my tractors glitch, my combines glitch, I mean, what kind of scenario would you see of a possible engine shutoff because it reaches hours of service while somebody is still actively driving. What's the possibility of that?
To be clear, Congressman, I don't think there's really a device that shuts your truck off because you're nearing out of service. You do have the ELD in your truck, which keeps track of your hours of service. And what that will do is once you go over, it's going to flag you in violation. Right. Where that becomes a problem, if I may, is drivers every day are left with this decision on whether they can park their truck in a safe place to take a break or be in violation to try to find a safe place. We saw a tragic accident in Illinois 6 months ago where a bus hit a truck that was illegally parked. That trucker had to make that decision, and he was tired, so he pulled off on that ramp to get a break because we don't have enough parking in this country. I drove by that ramp last week going back to Kansas City from my home in Ohio visiting family. That ramp on Sunday morning at 8:30 in the morning, there was 10 trucks down that ramp and out along the side of the highway, that same ramp, because we still have nowhere to park these trucks.
I've seen them, yep. And then we still have the problem, are they carrying a hazardous product or livestock that, they got caught in traffic and they need an extra bit of time? There isn't that discretion to get to a location that's safe or be able to offload the livestock. Sometimes you need an extra hour, and then the rules come down so hard upon them. So in general, what we're hearing is that and close on this, Mr. Pugh, that we have a general regulatory direction that seems to take away the ability of the individuals to make good decisions, make safe decisions, because the government's overriding and a device is overriding. Is that the general feel of your drivers, of your industry?
Yes, I think that's a general feel. I think my drivers would like to start seeing common sense regulation that's coming from experienced truckers, and instead of making regulations on a false, fake driver shortage narrative, which we've seen over and over and over, that's where this electronic stuff is, because we keep saying we have this driver shortage that we don't have. We have a training shortage, we have a parking shortage, we have a pay shortage. We don't have no driver shortage. So let's keep people in this industry. Let's listen to the people who do the job. Yep.
I've violated my own timeline here, so I better yield back to the committee here. I appreciate the answers. And so with that, I don't see anybody else here who wants to go for a second round. So no further questions from the committee. We'll conclude our hearing for today. I'd like to thank all of the witnesses for being here and for your testimony. With that, the committee stands adjourned.